toenails and blistered heels, salt stains streaking down my face. Sun is beating, muscles scream, but I'm moving at my pace. Run the riot! Leave the world behind! Run the riot! You free your body and your
Today on the Run the Riot podcast, we got Phil Klinkner, or like I like to call him, Philly K. What's up, Phil?
Let's go, man. Oh, it's all good today, man. I'm excited to be here with you, and we've been getting down to business. So, Monday was the start of a new training block, and I'm super excited because you got me doing some different things, and apparently I graduated to be able to do those things, and get a little extra push from you, and I'm excited about that, man.
Well, if those that heard the previous podcast with Phil, we talked about like when you started, you jumped on and we were coaching and stuff. Like, man, you hadn't been like you had a race coming up. It was like, I don't know, we didn't have very long, so
It was like
so it's
6
just like
weeks or something.
yeah, so we just gotta like fine tune and all. But now we're gonna get the full Monty, the 20-week build up, and so so you're already having to do some nice little intervals, and we graduate. I'm stepping it up a little bit because I know you can handle it. So
Well, no, that first speed workout, that's the first speed workout you gave me, and I went for it,
I hadn't looked at it yet. You went for it,
and I paid for it this morning with that hour recovery run. But
when you're doing those intervals, man, it's like the first couple, you're like, oh man, and get into it, and you're like, oh yeah, and then afterwards you're like, oh.
Well, at first I was trying to just like find my speeds, and then I settled in, and I think it was actually a really productive workout, to be honest with you, and I'm looking forward to doing some more because if it hurts, it's working.
Oh, you heard that from? Did somebody tell you that at the coaching call?
Maybe.
Well, it's funny, man. Those people are like, why? We don't run that fast for ultra marathons, and why you doing intervals? But it's about fitness, man. It's about increasing your capacity, and those, like, I think I gave you a 7x3. It's pretty kicking, man, as a beefy one. And
I went for it though. I'm like, just for me, it's kind of like in MMA. This is camp, man. This is training camp. my wife Malia, she's reminding me, like, she's never stern with me, but like. She's like, it's go time, bro.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. That's
like I got like, my whole team is sick, between like Malia, my sister's coming back, since all the races we're doing are on the Badger Trail. Yeah. I got you. I got, my mom's support. I got the three most important people in my life, my mom, my sister, and Malia,
That's
and then
cool.
I got you guided me. So, I mean, I'm excited, man. This is going to be a great year.
Well, it's gonna be good. Well, so you're doing the Badger Slam, but let's go ahead and we're gonna rewind, because last time we talked, you did the Badger 100, and last time we talked on the podcast, you and I talk every week, so we talk trash all the time. But anyway, you did that. It was your first 100, and we kind of unpacked that, and then you were like, I want to go do Hennepin, and man, we had big goals. And like you were fit, like you were building upon what we did for Badger. I don't know. We didn't have a huge gap in between.
I was so right. Like, my weight was right. I mean, we all knew I was going sub 20. I mean, like, it was, confidence was through the roof. I mean, I had gotten a little more time with you, and go ahead, man. Set it up.
So we did all the things. We got all ready, man. You're ready to go. We did all the planning, and this is just a good lesson, like, for everybody listening. You can do all the right things, and you get punched in the mouth. So I'm going to share first from my perspective. You know, I'm here in Oklahoma. You're out there running Hennepin. And you know, I'm like, you know, call me if you need text or whatever. And I get a text from Malia. Phil's about, I don't know, 35 miles in.
Not even.
He's in a bad place. Can you check on him? I was like, dang, what happened? Like, what? So I called, and you know what, Phil? You in a bad place.
Oh,
so
man.
So tell everybody what happened.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, Malia tattletales on me, calls you. And
She did
I'm
the right
like,
thing.
well, right, you know, and I'm sitting there like, you know, Mr. Macho Man, I'm like trying to hold back, you know, I'm like tearing up. I'm like, man, I gotta like, oh man, you're like, how you doing? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And I think like we left off with like you just saying, you know, kind of like you always say, you know, like just keep moving forward, you know. And I had it in my mind that like you said, man, I was so right. We
Yeah.
had like everything. It was all there. It was perfectly set up. You know, we knew I was gonna have a good time, and basically, like so that day, it was projected 90 degrees. You know, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, you know, the heat that's not gonna bother me. You know, and then
I'm a
the funny.
mailman.
Right, you know, it's like 120 in those trucks. I'm like, well, you know, what's it gonna do to me? And I show up in the morning, and there's kind of this buzz going around. You know, everyone's like getting in the spot, you know, and about to
Yeah.
listen to the race director, and there's this buzz going around. You know, everyone's like, maybe not everybody, but most people, you could hear it. Like you walking around and you could hear people talking about it. They're like, I'm gonna bank time before it gets really hot, you know? And I'm thinking
Yeah.
like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, you know? And but like I said, like it was just like everybody was saying it, you know, I'm gonna bank time, and then, you know, because it was 90 that day. And then
Yeah.
in the sun, it was ridiculous. And it just
Yeah.
so happened in Hennepin, like the first half of the race, you're getting hit by the sun. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of like at night, I was like, well, if we would have ran it the opposite direction, it would have been fine. We would have had like tree coverage and the whole thing. And so we got that buzz going around. And I don't really think I fell into that so much. You know, what happened was is because like literally I think about it every day. I'm
Yeah.
like, because we were there, man, you know, and it's not like, you know, the biggest deal in the world or anything, but like, you know, we all put so much time into it. And what I think is like, I wore trail shoes. I should have just worn road shoes. It's my fault. I should have like just looked into it a little more, maybe read some race reports or something. Um, I don't want to say it's funny, but at Packet Pickup, uh, I had asked the lady that I said, "So what would you run this in?" And she gave me kind of a vague answer. She's like, "Well, I'd run like 80% of it in road shoes and then 20% of it in trail shoes." And I'm like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, thanks for the advice, but like, so we just basically like, I wore those trail shoes, and I'm like 99.9. It really messed me up, my feet up, you know?
Well, and so it was interesting because you did a lot of you did a lot of your training on Badger Trail. Similar, I mean, you know, it just it was, you know, we planned for things, and we even planned for the heat. I mean, we knew you knew it was going to be hot. We knew you were going to have to just, you know, stay on top of your hydration and all that. Um, but we I don't know. It was hard, like as your coach, you know, like, all right, you know what you need to run. You've been running in and all that, and but that your feet got jacked up so early. Like that
Yeah.
was totally that threw us all for a loop, because you had some foot issues at Badger, but it was way at the end. It was like toward the end. It was when you got on
Right.
the pay section, and so like at mile 35, I was like, man, and you were like, because your feet were hurting so bad, you're and you got 65 miles to go, and your feet
Well,
are,
I'm gonna tell you what, like the Hennepin people, like awesome. Like they're
yeah,
cool people. I blame myself for not, like I said, reading
yeah,
some race reports, like just investigating a little more. Um, I should have wore road shoes,
yeah,
and that's just like
yeah,
the basic, what I learned from it. All rails to trail races are not the same.
yeah, it's true, yeah,
I mean, Badger Trail is a nice soft surface, whereas like at Hennepin, you do run into a lot of concrete.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I mean, it's like really old, and you wouldn't know. Well, plus the persimmon with and actually it was funny because there was like all those leaves down too. So you're like going over walnuts and persimmon, and there's
yeah,
leaves on top of it.
yeah,
So I wasn't expecting that, but like for people out there that like they just think, oh, routes of trails, there's different routes of trails. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
seriously, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
found out the hard way, bro.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
well, and what was and if you're all right with it, I'll share the pictures of your
yeah,
feet that you sent, because you
man,
it was legit. You had legit
yeah,
issues. So we talked, and to your credit, dude, like, okay, and everybody listening probably has been through where you have these high expectations, and they get trashed, and you have to make a decision, like, am I going to just keep going? Am I going to grind it out? And or am I going to just pack it up? And to your
right.
credit, good, bad, or indifferent, because your feet were pretty trashed and you a walking mailman, you gutted it out though. You went and finished it, and so I don't know. You sometimes you learn more about yourself through that than through pushing through something like that than if everything goes according to plan.
Well, and the thing about that is I learned more about Malia, my wife, than I did myself, to be
Yeah,
honest with you, because she was planning on running about 19 at the end with me,
yeah,
and I was coming in to an aid station, 10 junk miles aid station, and there was 38 left to go, and I called her. I'm just like, I'm done, man. Like like,
yeah,
and unless you're gonna pace me or someone's gonna pace me, there's no way, you
yeah,
know. So she's planning on going 19 with me.
yeah.
She ends up going 38 with me. I don't think she's ever even ran over 20 miles at this point,
That's pretty
you
good,
know.
man. It's pretty
Well,
good.
it gets even crazier because so we had a guy that like eventually ended up giving us a ride back to the aid station that like she came out with me or
Yeah,
left with me, and we weren't sure though because this other guy, she had kept going to the aid stations, and because the guy he was crewing was kind of about the same pace as me, so she
yeah,
kept running into the same guy, you know, and then like his guy was like just suffering from the heat,
yeah,
he was just like totally like dehydrated, having trouble.
yeah.
And I'm in my situation, like I got two flat tires
That's
over
right.
here, and I'm just pushing, and it's like 70 miles because it actually happened like a little before 50K,
Yeah,
where like I'm just like I can't believe this, like
yeah,
we put all this work into it. Oh my God. And it was a low feeling,
yeah,
because like we had the expectations, like you said.
yeah,
And um, but so what ends up happening, and this is like a shout out to the ultra community and his name was Brandon Becker. And
shout out to Brandon.
absolutely he was crewing a guy, Paul Swarsky. So like what happened was Lee and I are communicating as I'm coming into 10 junk miles aid station the second time, which by the way, Scott Coomer, I had been listening before Hennepin because he was talking about Hennepin. He has an aid station there. So I'm like, I'm going to listen to this, see what he has to say.
Yeah.
He had said on the podcast, he's like, if you leave my aid station at night, then you're probably gonna make it. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm thinking like I just gotta leave like 10 jug miles aid station, at night, and
It,
I'm probably gonna make it,
yeah.
and that's why. So like, what ends up happening is like 10 jug miles aid station is 38 miles from the finish,
Yeah.
and Malia's talking to this Brandon Becker dude, and she's like, oh, like you maybe give us a ride back here, like, and he's like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, we left the Jeep behind us. We left all our stuff on a maybe. That
38
he would
miles
get,
away.
yeah, like right, and like out there, I don't know the area. Just said, it's not like Uber is just everywhere.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean? So like Malia and I'm kind of like, I'm got ultra brain. I'm all messed up. And I'm thinking like, this is such a bad idea. You know what I mean? How are we gonna get back to the Jeep? And eventually, like, him and his friend were there that he was crewing. We're at the finish. He'd finish about an hour before me, and they were just there chilling, having some beers and stuff. And we finally roll in, and even at that point, we weren't sure if this guy was gonna give us a ride back,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like he did. And I just want to say Brandon Becker and Paul Schwarsky, man, like, what can you say? Like, oh my God, like I had this buckle, like, cause you guys like hooked us up, but the fact that we left with 38 miles ago, just, that's what I mean when I say I learned more about Malia than myself. Cause like
Yeah.
she at one point was like, you have to finish because we're never coming back here again. And I'm thinking like, God, she's probably right,
Yeah.
and but like the best part about that is like less than a week ago, she says to me, we're going back to Hennepin, aren't we? And I could tell by the way she was looking at me that my eyes were telling her, yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to Hennepin.
We gotta
And
go do it right.
I just responded, yep, yep, we're definitely going back to Hennepin at some point.
Yeah. Well, what'd your time end up being? I should have looked at.
It was like 24:10, and
Yeah.
we had I kind of like it was a good experience because
Yeah.
what ended up happening is like I took in the aid that, like, when I'd come into an aid station,
Yeah.
I was sitting down, we were taking, at least 10 minutes or more,
Yeah.
and people were coming up to me, what do you need? What do you need? And like, at the time, it was only my second 100, but like we had all
Yeah.
these expectations and stuff, and I'm like, you know, I was just surprised to get. I'm glad I got that experience, basically.
Well,
Whereas, like, you come into these aid stations and these people really are there to help you.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think that was one of when we were talking, that was one of your big takeaways that like when you said somebody gave you a ride and like I wasn't surprised, but it does sound crazy to other people, like man, you just leave your vehicle and you just go trampling off, but it happens all the time. Like we've given Jennifer and I have given rides to people back to start finish, or it just you just do it. It's an awesome community. And
Yeah.
at most races, man, at aid stations, people are there, they're volunteering and they're there like 2 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, what can I get you, man? Trying to encourage you. And
Right.
they don't have to be there. They could be out there home in their bed, but they're there cooking you a quesadilla and filling up your stinky water bottle. And,
Yeah, and that's crazy to me because I'm pretty self-efficient, and I was just like, oh my God, like these people are just helping me, man. I was just like so thankful.
yeah,
And but yeah, no, shout out to those guys. I wouldn't have that buckle, and forget the buckle. Like that was, I learned more from that, and I'm glad it happened
yeah,
that way. It really did make me better.
yeah. Well, I want to share with everybody, and we talked about this on the last podcast. Now you were reduced to pretty much, you know, a fast walk and all that for most of it, but because you walk a lot, you got a fast power walk, man, power hike. When you're talking about it, so when I'm thinking of power hiking, when I'm going pretty quick, I'm thinking 4.5 miles an hour is pretty quick for me,
Nah,
but you're
bro.
like 5.5 miles an hour, and
Yeah.
that's your power. That's you walking, and I'm like, that's pretty good, man. Like you could crank out some serious mileage and you know, just power hiking that stuff, man. That's what you do every day.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about though, because of like getting blisters on my feet like I do. We had talked about practicing instead of like hiking at that speed,
Yeah,
kind of keeping one foot out of the ground at a time,
yeah, yeah,
and I think, that's going to pay off in the end.
yeah,
Um, One thing I recently learned that we'll get into is when I was doing the Dreadmill, I had done about 3 hours at like just cruising pace. And it was weird because like every time I've done, even in training, I get to about 30 miles and I don't want to say it's like, okay, it's time to walk or hike,
yeah,
but it always felt like that's where it ended up.
yeah,
When I was doing Dreadmill, like I found the confidence where like it had gotten to the point I backed off after
yeah,
those like first 3 hours, but then all of a sudden, like I was like, man, like I can just run this because I was
yeah,
doing like about like a, hike 4, run 1, and
yeah.
then it turned into like hike 3, run 2. And then finally I'm just like, I can run this. So like I think like we're at that point with me anyways, where like I just need to keep one foot on the ground at a time.
Just go.
It's especially
Yeah,
for my feet,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, no,
Well,
everything's exciting, man, and, like, I wouldn't change that Hennepin's experience for anything. I
yeah.
will I will say that I don't know if we made the right decision to keep going. I will die with that, like,
That
I
was,
I will die make the because, dude, I was I was messed up,
yeah,
you
your
know what
feet
I
were pretty
mean?
jacked. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even just that, mentally, like, it carried over though,
Yeah.
David, like, I've I was more low after the race
Mm.
than I was, like, during the race because,
Yeah.
like, you put all your heart and soul into it,
Yeah.
and, like, just one mistake, just not, covering all your bases, I should have worn road shoes, and, it was tough, man,
Yeah.
like, I really and then, like, I had, um, hunting coming up, and that's a whole 'nother thing, like, I don't wanna make this a hunting show or anything, but
Well,
that could be emotional, it's kinda like an ultra in itself,
well,
you know?
okay. So after the you did Hennepin, and then you know, I told you I was doing the Dreadmill again, the Dreadmill 100, and you were like, hmm, and
No, no,
so
no, you got it wrong, into letting me do it, that's what really
yeah. Well, whatever the story is,
Yeah.
you signed up for the Dreadmill 100, and then, but you had this hunting thing, and you kind of warned me, like, hunting's going on. I'm a different person during hunting season, and I'm like, okay. You know, and I grew up. I'm in South Louisiana. My dad, we hunted all the time. You get buck fever or whatever, and I'm used to that. But I was like, when you got in the thick of it, I was like, Philly wasn't playing. He's eat
No,
up with it.
yeah. I was waking up at like 1 in the morning, getting my training in, showing up at the blind at like 5:30 in the morning, going to work, and then coming back to the blind at like 4 o'clock. I mean, and that went on for like 3 weeks. And then
Yeah,
finally, like I fell apart. You can only
yeah,
keep something up with like that for so long.
yeah,
And I'll get the hunting thing out of the way. It didn't work out for me, but, like, leading up to the Dreadmill, I was out of my mind. I
yeah,
was,
yeah.
like I said, man, 1 in the morning, training, just the whole thing, man. It was tough, but I had the drive. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not giving up on, like my training, and I'm not
Yeah.
giving up on like going out and like trying to do what I've done for my whole life as far as the hunting thing. It was just, I
You
wasn't going
had
to give up on either.
two obsessions at the same time, two addictions at the same
Oh
time. You
man.
had buck fever and ultra training going on, and I
Ah.
got a front row seat because you jump on the call and you were like, Lord, I could just tell in your
Oh,
face, dude. You're like, I
about
said,
two
what
weeks
you been
in,
doing? What?
about 2 weeks in, I said to myself, I'm like, why did you sign up for the Dreadmill? Like
Yeah,
that's so
you asked me that, like why I did that?
why did I do that? Like, because I've struggled in the past with the
Yeah.
hunting. I mean, like you can't control wild animals, I mean, and then
Yeah.
like I got unlucky with it, and like I said, it didn't work out, but it did work out
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
where we'll end up at is actually what I really wanted.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
if I had to choose, with like one or the other, what I got is what I really wanted,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Well, you were, and I'll just tell everybody. So I want to remind everybody that you carry the mail on foot, and we looked at it like you walk like half marathon a day, for the most part. I know, and you do some other things too, some training some days or whatever where you're not walking, but for the most part, like so that's on top of. I'm giving you the regular training that anybody else would do because you've been eating it up and it's been good. So like you get a lot of time on feet. And so you were doing all of that plus the hunting and doing the training. So you were putting it in. You were dedicated. Um, and then so we get to where you're gonna do the Dreadmill and you were jabbing at me, uh, like it's a competition, and I'm like, man, I'm just
No,
not.
no, no.
Yeah, you were. So
No,
so
I was trying to
I,
see what you I thought we were both sandbagging each other,
yeah,
is what
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
I
And
was
then you're
like,
like, I
because
ain't
you were
sandbagging.
saying,
I'm gonna beat you.
no, no, no. You said you were injured, and you were going, you were healing something up,
Oh,
and I'm like, I
had some,
don't know, man. I
I
think you
had
might just
issues
be
and I was
saying
heavy.
that.
So I weighed, oh man, the week after Christmas, I weighed the most I've ever weighed. And so, so I was a big boy on the treadmill. I was pretty kicking, but I'm getting that tightened up right now. But I knew I wasn't in shape to run what I've done before on the treadmill, on the Dreadmill, but I was, I was going to get it done. And, so you set the time, set the date. We talked about the plan, and Malia was pretty much going to be there,
Yeah,
and you had to plan like every hour. You're gonna jump off, use the restroom, get back on, jump, stop it, take your picture, because you got to turn in all that stuff,
yeah.
and you guys had it like clockwork where you didn't really have hardly any downtime. You go to the bathroom and she'd hand you what you needed, and dude, you were
I
boogieing.
mean, we were, and like forget like how well I did, and everything. Like the thing is like we really learned a lot from that as far as like being
Efficiency.
efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of am harping on her about that. I'm like, because we got Badger Slam coming up, man. Like I said, man, this year is gonna be awesome. And I told her, I'm like, love you, but gotta go.
Well, and it's good to talk about that ahead of time because that's one of the things that's hard for me when Jennifer comes. Now she doesn't come really for the 100; she comes for like for 200s and stuff. And I allow myself more time at the aid station she's at for the 200s because I need it. But when somebody's crewing you and they're out there, it's hard. Like you have to set that expectation. So anybody listening, like if you're trying to compete or trying to really PR and you don't want to spend a lot of time at an aid station, like let your crew know, like, all right. And you have to like not let it bother you because it would bother me. Like, oh man, I'm just going to be in and out. They're going to see me for a minute. They've been there for an hour waiting for me. They drove through whatever to
Yeah,
get there. But if they're there for the right reasons and they want you to compete and they want you to do well, that should be fine, And so, I'm glad, like, it's good. Like you're having you're having that talk and that expectation
Yeah, and that's just
because
being human though, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
like, you know,
The people you
someone's like you
love,
said,
the people,
waiting there for you for an hour. It's
and
like,
you're like, peace.
gotta go.
Give me my stuff. Take my trash. I'm out.
No, like I said though, like as far as yeah, I made it, you know, like
Yeah,
we got there. I got the buckle,
yeah,
cool, whatever. But like the more important thing to me is like, you know, like what she did was just I
yeah,
knew she'd always be there for me, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But like we took a risk, like
yeah.
you know, like I
It
said,
paid
we
off.
didn't know how we were getting back. I
Yeah,
mean, it was crazy. You know, like what I
yeah.
can't think at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You had runner brain. It was her, but and so like it's cool because like you're both learning every experience, every race, and then so on the Dreadmill, like you learn that hey, we can really do some stuff with it being efficient. So and you learned that you can run a lot more than you thought you could, and that was really cool that you kind of you unlock that next level. You unlock the code and you realize like, okay, I don't need to do the walk run as much as I thought I did. I loved when you shared with me, I'll let you share it, toward, like you're getting closer toward the end and you're like, I want to get this done. And tell me what you did.
Well, like I said, I ran like the first 3 hours about like a 6:3 pace,
Yeah.
and then this I didn't even make it close to a 50K. I backed off, you know,
Mm.
and I d- and that's another thing. I feel like I left so much time on the table now, but you never know.
Yeah.
But so what happened was is I chilled, man. You know, I was like at like way above a 5, you know, but like a 5 mile per hour pace. But like I just like I said, I got there where like I'm like kind of messing with like, okay, I'm gonna run a minute. Next thing you know, I'm running 2 minutes. Next thing you know, I'm running 3 minutes. And I'm like, this is stupid, man. Like I'm at home. We had taken extra time and we kind of like made a pain pit at the house. We got a new treadmill. I got all these like, you know, phrases and signs up, you know, like you don't, you know, you get to do this, you know, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, you know, don't give up all the things, you know. And I just it just hit me. I'm like, just go, man. Like
Yeah.
and after that, once like I had that epiphany, I got faster, like, every hour. Like, my last 6 hours were faster than anything, and
That's crazy.
I literally was, like, banging on the treadmill, like, the last 3 hours, I'm like, because my treadmill only goes up to, like, 9 miles per hour, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just banging on it to, like, go faster, you know, because I got runner's brain at that
You lost
point.
your mind is what
Yeah,
happened.
like, I know it doesn't go but I'm just, like, trying to will it too. You know what I mean? Like
Oh. Well,
but, yeah.
so that I mean, so you got a glimpse there of what's and we've been talking about that. Like you always said, like I feel like there's more. I feel like I got there's something there, and I think you got a good glimpse of it. And I'll share with everybody. You ran that in a 17:10, um, which was fantastic, and so that was good enough for second place this year, on the Dreadmill. And so
Yeah,
that was like and I love that. And and you've heard me say this before, man. That's part of what I do. What this stuff is to see people realize their potential, and you know, and so what's cool about that is that happened, dude. And I remember our first call after that, like just like we were like, we had some celebration.
"Oh,
Oh,
man,
that's
let's go, let's
right.
go, man."
Yeah, yeah. It was so good. And then we're carrying that into you're going to do the Badger Slam, and so it's not just about getting it done anymore. It's like, let's see what we can do. Let's see what let's PR some distances. Let's see what's
Well,
there.
and, like, you know, for people that have listened to the last podcast that I was on, I had talked a little bit about, you know, finding what I'm seeking,
Yeah,
and, the thing is like I kind of tapped into that a little bit, you know, like in the last, you know, time we had gotten together, I'm like, oh, maybe this ultra stuff's just a step, and I tell you what, man, like that last at least 4 hours, like most people would probably call it being in the zone or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But like I literally felt like I was looking in on myself and like unbreakable. Like I get why that's like a book now or a phrase.
Yeah.
Cause like I literally felt like I was unbreakable. Like nothing was gonna stop me. Like I was just like going and going and going and going. And I end up like you said I got second and I the guy behind me was 13 minutes behind me.
Yeah.
And I just know that just being like bonkers out of my mind, like not even knowing basically what I'm doing at the time. But you know what I mean though? I'm just like Malia at the last 2 hours especially, because she was the one adding up the times, she kinda
Yeah.
was, like, sandbagging me a little bit, and then after 50, I'm asking questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, "So what's going on?"
Yeah.
But, like, that last 2 hours, bro, she literally was, like, in amazement,
Yeah.
like, she couldn't believe it was happening,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she had the numbers going.
Yeah.
So I kinda knew it was going really well, and, oh, man, I gotta thank her, man. Like,
Yeah.
she stayed up the whole time,
That's
and,
cool.
who would do that? Like, she's about as dumb as I am. Well, it
Wait, I'll just say that when I did it, Jennifer was like, "You stupid. I'm going to bed. I love you. Bye."
well, like, talking about stupid, that reminds me, I was gonna say this. I was thinking about saying this, and I'm like, yeah, so, we were having a coaching call, and you had said to me, you're like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about, doing a podcast about 2 guys, 2 idiots, running 100 miles on a treadmill." I was like, "Wait, that's us!" I'm like, "That's us, man, you're talking about us."
Yeah. Well, so your experience, and I've shared before, and anybody can go back and listen to when I've done the Dreadmill before. I usually do, and I did it that way this time. I'll have everything I need for 2 hours, and like you did, where an hour, like about an hour, and then you'd reset and,
Yeah.
and do stuff, which worked great because you were efficient with it. But me, I'm just kind of doing it, and so I'll do 2 hours. I'll run, refill my bottles, grab whatever other, and I had to, set up, go use the bathroom, and then jump back on, and just go. And that's kind of how, rinse and repeat. I did more. Um, I did some, I did walk running quite a bit on this one. That was my plan because I'm a big boy now, and so I planned it, and so there's, when you do something like that, is any race, like there's no 100% right way. There's what's right for you, but there's also what's right for you in that time, what works for you and what you got. And so I remember the first year I did it at a local gym, and I was in a fighting weight, excellent shape, and I ran most of it. Like I just went and did really well. And so but and lately I've been doing this more of like, okay, I'm to throw that in at the end of the year. I still kind of got some decent shape. Let's go. But I don't know. Next year I might have to do something. We'll see.
I still say, like, 2027, you and me, Tunnel Hill, we'll see what happens, bro.
We'll see, because I got Bigfoot and Heartland, so we're gonna have
Well, that's
to.
I'm giving you the grace of taking it to 2027.
Oh, okay, okay. You give me permission
Yeah, right?
I appreciate that. You're a good guy,
Yeah,
Phil.
right, right.
uh, but it's a and it, I don't know. It's funny because you would talk to people. How did the people that, when you told people that you were going to run 100 miles on the treadmill, people you work with, your family, and all, let's talk a little bit about their responses, because I got a lot of that stuff too. But
Okay, so I'm just gonna holler at 3 of my boys at work. Sean, former Marine, I'm probably my, like, best friend, and, I say that because, um, man, we hung out a lot, like, talked a lot, and then when I started, like, training for ultras and stuff, like I said in the last podcast, I felt like I alienated people,
Yeah.
And that boy, man, he's just my boy. Like
Yeah.
he's one of those people that you're friends with, you don't talk to for 5 years, and then like you run into him and it's like you talked to him last week.
Just pick up where you
You know
left
what
off.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then my guy Jose, man, he's all jacked up, you know. So and then my boy Dawson, I'm not sure if like they just tolerate me because they like we just talk ultra stuff all the time, you know, or like just working out in general.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if they're just humoring me or what, but like I gotta just say to those guys, I love you, man. Thank you for being there for me. And
Yeah.
it's just good to have some you know some more people behind you. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, what did they think about it when you told them you're gonna sign up for a
well,
Dreadmill?
my one boy said, what a wonky cool race to crush. You
Wonky
know what
cool.
I mean?
Yeah.
And when he said that to me, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's kind of like a cool thing to say because, you know, a lot of like people that run or jog or, you know, they have like there's a stigmatism with the treadmill, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But when he said that to me, I'm like, you know what? Like, you know, for all those people that, you know, aren't treadmill people, you know, I'm just like, that's kind of a cool way to look at it. What a wonky, cool race to crush, you know? And he's an outsider. He's not a runner or anything, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But
Well,
to hear that perspective is cool.
that's cool. So, and one of the reasons people have such a tough time fathoming it, because I mean, when you're used to, one of the reasons a lot of people are listening and do this, you know, we love being out in nature, love being outside, mountains and all that stuff. And that's part of it. I mean, that's a big part of it. I love that. But sometimes, you know, I jokingly call the treadmill a necessary evil,
Yep.
because sometimes you just got to do it. But it it adds another, when you're okay running 100 miles on a treadmill. Yeah, it's physical. It's going to be physical anytime you're traveling that far on feet. But it adds a mental, be up and above and beyond, you know, what you would normally do, because you gotta you gotta stay there. You've got to stay focused. And treadmill miles, I don't know, they take quite twice as long as regular miles, it seems like. So what did you do to occupy your mind, Phil? What did you do to stay focused while you were on there and to keep moving?
All right. So, you know, I was doing the hunting thing. I was so frustrated. I'm losing sleep. You know, I'm training, I'm doing that. And it's one of those stories that you don't hear very often where like someone's like, yeah, I had a trash training block, but then I had my best time.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened for me.
Yeah.
Um, Even though, like, I was all focused in on the hunting thing, at the same time, in the back of my mind, like, I had been starting to, like, I cleared out my basement at my house.
Yeah.
I mean, like, everything went. And
Yeah.
then piece by piece, we were starting to put things together. And, the pain pit at my house, it's, you know, I can shut the door, like, you know, I can have the intimacy of solitude.
Yeah.
And, like, I, you know, some people might be like, "Oh, maybe that's weird or anything," but like, you know, it's cool because like I can dig that. I can just have my own space. You
Yeah.
know,
And,
like nobody's gonna come around.
yeah, and you know, you put up reminders, like you said, sayings and stuff like that to kind of keep you
Oh yeah.
focused when you looked around. And did you watch TV while you were doing it?
I started out I think it was a Thursday night football game.
Okay.
So
That's pretty
that
good, because
last
that's a
that
good 3.5, 4 hours right there, man.
right, I was
Depending on,
gonna say that was about 4 hours.
yeah.
But you know, like it really wasn't doing it for me. And we had planned on me watching The Mandalorian, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. Oh, I
But
forgot
that
about that.
football yeah, yeah, yeah. That football game was on, so I'm like, well, I'm gonna be on here for a while. I might as well try this, you know.
Yeah.
As soon as that football game was over with, we threw The Mandalorian on. And let me
Nice.
just say this is the way.
Yeah. That's, man,
This is the way.
so I had set aside like certain things to watch, and so I'm gonna out myself real quick here on a few things. So I watched what was released up until that point. I finished watching Stranger Things. All right.
I
Um,
gotta get that one, yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good. And
Yeah,
we watched
okay.
the ending and stuff. Like they ended it, whatever. They did a good job. So Stranger Things. All right. I had stopped watching. I had to watch the last couple seasons of the Witcher. So I watched the new ones with Helmsworth instead of instead of Superman. And so it was different, but so I watched that. And then okay, just as a judgment-free zone, I have a teenage daughter. I have a teenage daughter, and even an
Oh
adult
no,
that I work with said, "You should watch it. It's pretty good." I watched K-pop Demon Hunter, bro.
I've never even heard of that.
It's a Korean, well, it's a Korean cartoon, and all the kids are singing it and everything else. And I work at a school, so I'm like, I'll watch it or whatever. And I was like, well, wasn't that bad? It was like,
Yeah.
but anything to keep the mind going, man, because you gotta, if you can occupy the brain, um, and just keep executing, that's our word. We'll talk about that in a little while,
Yeah,
but and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
to
yeah.
keep moving, and that's the big thing on the treadmill is to just if I can keep my brain focused on something and I'm still checking in on my body, I'm still making sure I'm drinking, I'm eating, and I'm doing what I need to do physically. It goes by, actually, it goes by pretty quick. I had a couple of times where I almost fell asleep when on the treadmill, but just chug some Coke and and kept going.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that it was really crazy because she ends up like running to the quick trip. I'm like, just I always do this to her. I'm like, she's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "You know what I like." You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So she comes back with like a smoothie, cool,
Nice.
and then like she's got a chocolate shake. I'm looking at her like, "Why would you bring a chocolate shake back here?" That was the best chocolate shake I've ever had in my life, man. Like
Yeah.
she ended up giving me another one. I'm like, "Oh, man." So, like, you
Calories,
would
man.
think,
It's
like, like, it would mess your stomach up or whatever, but, like, I was so far into it. I didn't care, man. It tasted so good. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
man, give me another one of these." But it's
Well,
just funny, chocolate shake, who would think that,
I know, and what's amazing is, so through coaching different people, I always ask, not only because I want to know to help guide or whatever, but I love hearing what works for people as far as what they're doing. And so I won't say her name because I just started coaching or whatever, but she'll hear this and she'll laugh. But one of the things she does is she brings a can of soup, bruh, and she'll crack the can of soup and she'll drink the can of soup while
Oh,
she's going.
that's
Yeah.
baller, man. That's
That and
baller,
when
man.
you think about it, like, chicken broth and chicken noodle soup and some other
Yeah.
things, there's a lot in there, and there's calories, and and so I'm like, dude, if that works and your stomach is happy with it, man, bring your can of soup and just, it's good.
Yeah, but really, for my nutrition on that, like, not much changed, like,
Yeah,
I mean, it was, bananas, oranges, I'm really, like, as far as salt tabs go,
yeah,
I'm every hour, at least one.
yeah,
Um, at that point, I was still, like, basically adapted, so we were using Vespa.
yeah, yeah, nice.
I can't promise that now, but, like, we're
Yeah,
we're 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 tightening it back up, right, 'cause
what,
I mean, like, like, I'm human, so
yeah,
to to have a result in a performance like that for a guy like me who's just, hanging out trying to have fun, I
yeah,
mean, I'd have never thought it. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I still don't believe it, man. I almost feel like I have to explain myself to
See, what
people.
what what had happened was
No, but like, okay, so after Hennepin, one of your phrases is always like, if you can't do what you want, do what you can,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
and and I mean, like, I had never in my entire, I'd done some stuff, man. Like,
yeah,
I had never been like that bad,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, so what happened is like I can't really do anything, but like I still had my upper body.
yeah,
So I started just, doing some strength stuff, and I had mentioned it to you, but I don't think you had realized how consistent I
yeah,
went with it. Cause like I literally would do like every other day, I would do that core workout that you had given me.
yeah,
And then, just the next day I would do those strength exercises. And man, I was solid. Like I didn't miss a beat. So that was literally like the one thing that changed between
Mm.
like, we'll just scratch Hennepin time, but
Yeah.
between like the 2140 I got at Badger
Yeah.
and then the 1710, like I did, and I wasn't going heavy weights. You know, I think
Yeah.
the heaviest weight I had was like a 22.5 on the dials, you
Yeah.
know. So like I wasn't like doing anything crazy, but like I was super consistent. One day core, the next day strength, you
Yeah.
know, but on top of what we were doing, and then on top of like all my walking at work, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was keeping busy. We'll
Yeah.
just say that.
You
I was keeping busy, you know. But
yeah.
that's the one thing that's my explanation to people. Like, how could this guy go from like 2140 to like 1710? Well, like I just started. That's what I did. Like that's the only thing we changed, and
Yeah.
you kind of knew about it, but not really. But you know, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, so for we mentioned earlier we got the Badger Slam going in, and for those who don't know, that's the Sugar Badger 50, and then it's the Badger 100 mile. You can do that again, and then we were going back and forth because you really want to get 200 miles, and so you're debating whether to do the last dot standing or the 48 hour, and we went back and forth, and Malia, we all went back and forth, and because your goal, you really want to get 200 miles, and so we ended up deciding that the last dot standing would probably be your best bet to
It
get
was a 2-to-1 vote,
it was a 2-to-1 vote.
and
Well,
it was a scary vote because we went against Malia.
yeah, well, and so anybody listening, like especially people that have done like when you do, okay, you did 100 miles, and that's what's hard because the math is never what you think it should be, because you did 100 miles in 17 hours and 10 minutes. That's fantastic. But that second 100 miles, especially in a in that kind of environment, you don't know all the variables. A 48 hour 200 mile is tough. It's really tough. And so, we decided that it would be better, to and you get to experience that the last dot standing, and we'll get to it'll be a cool experience, but then you'll have other people pushing you, you'll be pushing other people, and I don't know. I think I'm excited to see how that goes. It's going to be fun to watch you do that, and hopefully I didn't look and see who's. Let me see who signed up.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the way it's gonna go is my way. That's the way it's gonna go. Like, no,
Talking.
but the two guys they went 263 miles
Yeah,
last year at Last Stat Standing.
yeah.
Um, God, I wish I could remember his name.
Is that
All
Nick?
I know is one of the dudes coming back. One of the
Uh,
dudes coming back, and he's just gonna have to drag my butt to 200,
yeah,
and it's hard for me to say this, but like I'm just gonna let him know that when we get to 200, I'll let him have it. You know what I mean? I don't care about the title. I don't
yeah,
care
yeah.
about the money. That's not what it's about for me. And I will keep good on that promise. Um,
You just want to get 200 miles.
yeah, that's what my team deserves. That's what Malia deserves. That's what my sister deserves. That's what you deserve. That's what my mom deserves.
All right.
Everyone that supports me, like they we put in a lot of work, and I'm just the lucky one that gets to like go out there and run it. It's like
Yeah.
when we're racing stock cars, like I was kind of like the tire guy, but everybody else was like the brains around it. I was just the lucky one that got to like drive. And
Yeah.
that's how I
Yeah.
feel about this.
Yeah.
Like I'm just the lucky one that gets to suffer. I mean, like,
Yeah. You get to go out and do it. We just.
yeah.
So I'm trying to look and see. Yeah, I'm just looking at the list right now. So there's 7 entrants right now. It's still early though. It's real early. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more people join. And so
Oh,
for people listening, you want to do a last man standing race, go do the last dot standing so you can make sure and be part of the people to push Phil, get him to 200 miles, and you get 200 miles too. So, Phil's
yeah.
throwing it
No,
down.
I mean, like, I think his name is God, man, and because I was on, with, Meet the Nation with Scotty Coomer and I got the name wrong, and I think his name is
Me
Garrett Nelson.
Oh,
He's the
okay.
one that got 2nd, and, so there was 2 dudes, he had the strategy of running it, and then I apologize, Mark, he was the guy that actually won it, but, like, he was the one that, like, hyped it the whole time, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing Scotty had said about Mark is he was super durable, you know,
Mm,
like he looked durable. And
yeah.
like I've been saying that to you, like there's gotta be 50-mile fill, there's gotta be 100-mile fill, there's gotta be 200-mile fill, which is like there's a big difference though.
Yeah.
Like, cause you were just saying the other night, like, you know, 50 miles. I mean, this kind of verbatim, but you're like 50 miles isn't a sprint, but because I had never, I've never run a 50 miler, you know.
Right.
So I'm asking you like, so even in training, I'm like, so where should my mind frame be? You know what I mean? Like, it's not even about the race, man. We
Yeah.
always talk about the process and everything. I'm asking you, I'm like, what when I'm training, where should my mind be? And that's where we came up with our the training block word. The word of the block is execute, you
Execute. That's
know?
it.
So that's gonna be running through my mind. I've never run a 50 miler. I'm not a sprinter, whether it's a 5K or a 50 miler, you know, like the longer I go, the better I am just because I'm stubborn and stupid, you know. But
Yeah.
like I'm really excited about this 50 miler, you know, and like we had talked about, if I just go for it, because
Yeah.
we both know, like, I can go 50K,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where, like, the Mendoza line is. It's like,
Yeah.
where am I at there?
Yeah.
And even if I blow up, like, that's fine. Because, like you said, what, there's 15 miles to go,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's going to be like, I think it's going to propel me because, like you said, 15 miles to go, even if, like, I'm crappy, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go, man,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be like I like hundreds, so like it's gonna be a good experience for me for my 100 game. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? I'm gonna find that spot where, like I had said earlier, about where like, okay, I hit like 30, 35 miles. Okay, it's time to hike. It's like, no, bro, like,
Yeah.
we're getting me to that point where like we're just gonna stay on one foot at a time.
Yeah. We're
And
just gonna
that's
keep
and I'm excited about it. Like it's gonna be awesome, man.
it'll be fun. And we talked about, goals and stuff, and we'll be able to unpack those as training goes, and we'll see how you're doing, how you feeling, what your paces look like, and we'll just, you know, um and these kind of things are fun because I don't know, they're just fun because you're going to see a lot of the same people, at these races because it's local for you, and I don't know, and I don't know how many people. Is there somewhere where it says who's doing the slam?
No, like, when I did do the Meet the Nation with Scotty,
Yeah.
he said last year only 2 people got it. Because you
Hmm.
get a jacket if you do all he said himself, he's like, "It's a rare accomplishment, not
Hmm.
everybody does it," and
Yeah.
that made me even more excited about it.
Yeah. It's
I
like
mean,
I got to do it now.
because I told him, I said, "Bro, you might as well, like, print that jacket up." That's Philip with 2 L's,
Yeah.
by the way.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. Like, and I love it. You know, and it's my job as your coach because okay, so I'll share this with everybody too because you got to know when like you're ready to go. And like we had a little period, from the Dreadmill to this starting block where I was having to rein you in a little bit. I'm like, all right, no, I know you feel good, but you got still got stuff going on in your body. Things need to heal. Things need to, and to your credit, you were like, all right, and you did. You sat back, and there's going to be times like after races, after tough, we're going to have recovery weeks, and that recovery is important. And so we got to keep you like you got a lot that you can do, but we got to keep you healthy the whole time. So the putting in the work is part of it, but also recovering, and resting when it's time is going to be part of it too. So it's going to be fun to with the ebb and flow of training, and put like go run 50 miles, and then we'll have to, you know, heal from that a little bit because you're going for it. You're going to try to do the best you can at it. And so it's not
Right.
like you're just running it as a training race. No, I'm gonna be racing, and then we got to build up for the 100, and then after the 100, we gotta rest and then build up for the, do what we can to get ready to do the last dot standing and see
No,
what
I
happens
think
then.
I think that's my A race, that last outstanding.
Yeah,
Of course, it always depends on who shows up.
yeah,
Scotty had asked me, "Well, what if, like, you're the last person?" Because I told him my goal is to get 200. And, like, even when he asked me, he's like, "Well, what happens if, like, like, you're the last outstanding?" I just came over the top and said, like, "My goal is to get 200." I didn't well, you know what I mean? I didn't answer the question.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, when you're doing stuff like we're doing right now, like, you try to
Hmm.
be direct, you try to answer the question, but, like, at that moment, I'm like,
I just want
it
200.
did yeah, it didn't even matter, like, what you said doesn't matter. Like, all I want is that 200 for my team, like, the
Yeah,
work we all put into it, you're my big brother, like, I got the 3 most important people in my life, and, they're all there for me, um, we're home court,
yeah.
15 minutes from the house, I'm there every Sunday, and by the way, whoever is gonna show up, I just wanna let them know that, I don't have to be to work until, like, 9 days later. So, like so, like, I you always hear about the mind games that happen,
Yeah,
like, who's pretending to look bad, who's pretending to look good.
yeah.
All I have to say is, I don't have to be to work for a while, bro. So, like, or my young lady, whatever.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like, hey, man, like, I never used to say it is what it is. I hated it when people said that. But,
yeah.
like, as I've gotten older and so much stuff has happened to me and like it does to everyone else, I kinda, like, took it in and then embraced that, is what it is.
Because
You know what
sometimes it
I
just
mean?
well, you could do it the what I say, I call it the South Louisiana style. Instead, if you don't wanna say it is what it is, you could say, "It be what it do." It just be what it
Yeah.
do.
S Oh, my boy's like, "Sometime it be like that."
That's right, that's right.
You know what I mean? So
Well, I'm looking forward, man. We're gonna we're gonna train. And we talked about this at our on our call Monday night. There can be some ups and downs. It's gonna happen, you're gonna get tired and it's gonna be ups and downs in training, but I'm not worried about it. Like I know you're gonna put the work in. We're gonna do it. We're gonna plan and we're gonna have fun and we're just gonna just mind the potential that's there, man. And
well, and it's not it, you know what, like, I agree with everything you just said there, but coming up to, like, us doing this, of course, like, we're gonna do this, so I'm, like, kinda thinking about, like, stuff, we might say and everything and all that, but one of the things that came into my mind was, like, it's been such a short time since in the
yeah,
my ultra life,
yeah,
it's barely been 13 months,
yeah,
and I was just, like, reflecting, and I said to myself, like, "This sport has just brought so much into my life."
yeah,
It's not only changed my life, it's changed the lives of people around me, and I just want to respect the sport.
yeah,
We're kind of like joking around, like I'm
yeah,
saying, like, "Oh, I got off work, for like
yeah, yeah,
10 days or whatever." But the reality of the situation is like my life is so much better for like doing ultras and being a part of it, and I just want to respect the sport.
yeah,
Respect everybody out there who's giving it everything they got.
yeah,
'Cause that's all I'm doing,
yeah,
I don't think I'm anything special,
yeah,
but, like, it's what I do with my time, like,
yeah,
I love it, it keeps me I don't I don't make all the right decisions still,
yeah,
but, like, I can at least always come back to that, and it's there for me,
yeah,
so when I am ready to make the right decisions, like, I got something,
yeah,
to, like, help me, and, I'm just so glad that, like, that that, when I did start, you know, uh, saying, okay, I need to lose weight and I need to start being active. And I'm like, and Malia said, well, maybe you should run a marathon. I'm just, it's kind of like, you know, God was telling me, like, he pointed me in the direction of like, no, you don't want to do a marathon. I'm gonna drop this ultra marathon stuff on you.
Yeah.
And I was just lucky in that way, because if I would have done a marathon, I'd be like some marathoner or something like that, you know. But like this is just like a whole different ball game, and
Yeah.
I'm just so like grateful that like just by chance, you know, we signed up for that Madison Ultras, you know, 50K, and then it just spun from there. And I'm not trying to like tear up or anything, but it really has like brought so much into my life. And I always kind of live by the saying, like, make your life bigger, not smaller. You know,
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
you know, open it up. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, what's, you know, we're living. You know, um, after Hennepin, like I said, it wasn't just because of the race. I was just in a dark spot, and you know, we had talked, and you know, like a lot of people close to me were just worried about me because but like I was able to like come up, you know.
Yeah.
And like I mean, even after the Dreadmill, when I threw down that time, you know, like we could have never expected. I was still like kind of, I still needed help, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody was there for me and pulled me up. Like I said, my friends at work, and I'm just so happy. Like, you know, we're in a good spot. We got some momentum. What a year! Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we were just talking about my schedule's stupid for this year. Like I just said to you, like, so I'd never run a 50 before. So like, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But like Badger 100, like we all know the potential that I can go top 10, you know. Like I mean it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like we know I have the potential to do it, you know. And then Dots, like I said, bring a stretcher. If you think I'm quitting, like like you can try to read me, like it's not gonna work. Like poker face, whatever. I'm just gonna smile, like, you know, take my lickings, you know, everything hurts, whatever. Like my house is 10 minutes over there. Where I need to be is on this trail, and
There
I
you
don't have
go.
to go to work, you know, for over like 9 days. So like, you know, bring your lunchbox, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh, well, it's gonna be fun, man. And I love, you know, I'm having a blast walking the journey with you, and you know, let's do it. You know, we're gonna do it. We're gonna
let's
have fun,
go,
and we're
man.
gonna get
Let's
it done.
go.
Oh man.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for jumping on again, dude. It's good.
Oh
It's fun
man.
to give the update. You've been, one of the reasons I want to do this is just share, and we'll kind of finish with this. You said this before, like, I'm trusting the process. You trust the
Yeah.
process, and the results are coming. You know, and you're working, and in Training Peaks. I always like seeing the green. You always got the green going on, man. You do the work. You put the work in, and
Well,
so
you
you
know,
earned it.
well, right. So when I'm out there, I trust like the training I did. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
really do focus in on like the training. I'm like, man, I did everything I could,
yeah,
you know. So like I think in the last podcast I talked about trusting myself, and I just trust myself. Like when I put it all in, you know, hey, you say do this, do that, you know what I mean? I do it. So when I'm out there, you know, whether it's at home in the basement on the treadmill or out on the trail, you know, like
yeah,
I'm I believe in myself, you know, and I
yeah,
believe in everybody around me, you
yeah.
know, and it's what pulls me through, you know. So I'm just thankful.
We'll just keep doing it. We'll keep it up.
Absolutely.
All right, my brother. Well, we're gonna call it here, and we're
Yeah.
gonna keep trucking, man. Everybody, get out there and do some running.
Right.
All
I
right,
appreciate you, bro.
all right, bro.
Took a little time just to find my pace. Clear the noise, put my mind in place. I had to slow down just to see the road. Now I'm back with a fire ready to explode. Rest isn't quitting, it's strength rebuild. New horizon rising on the dreams I built. Feet on the ground, heart burning bright. Ready for the push, ready for the fight. I'm making a comeback. Watch me rise from the lowest valley to the mountain skies. Every mile I run, every beat, every song. This is the moment. I'm coming back strong. Yeah, I'm coming back strong. Found my purpose in the quiet days. Hope got louder in a brand new way. Yeah, sometimes slowing down makes you see the truth. I'm stepping out stronger with a renewed view. Every lesson turned into fuel inside. Every heartbeat picking up the stride. So here I stand with my eyes ahead. The fire's lit, enough been said. I'm making a comeback. Watch me rise from the lowest valley to the mountain skies. Every mile I run, every breath, every song. This is my moment. I'm coming back strong. Yeah, I'm coming back strong. The road gets dark, but I know the way. The fight in my bones won't fade away. Sun will rise, I'll greet the dawn. I'm not done yet, I'm still moving on. I'm making a comeback. Watch me rise from the lowest valley to the mountain sky. Every mile